Here, we're going to be seeing the difference between var, let, and const. The differences between the three is based on four concepts while you're working with variables. One is reassignment. The second one has got to do with redeclaration. Third is with hoisting. And the fourth one is the scope. Regarding reassignment and redeclaration, we've already gone ahead and we've spoken about it. Hoisting and scope is slightly more advanced, which we'll be covering in the next lectures. But what is the major difference? When you declare a variable with the var keyword, they allow you to reassign. Variable is declared, you have given it a value. You can now assign a new value to it. It works. They allow you to redeclare. You have declared within your program a particular variable with a certain name, and you can go on to redeclare, reuse the same variable name once again. That is redeclaration. The variables get hoisted. There's a concept called as hoisting in JavaScript. Variables, for now, think of it this way. Variables declared with the var keyword, they get hoisted. And with respect to scope, that is availability of your variable, variables declared with the var keyword are basically function scoped. When you declare a variable inside a function, it's available to us across. When you're working with the let keyword, how does the let keyword differ from the var keyword? This is where you start to see the changes. When you declare a variable with the let keyword, we can reassign a value to it. I've already declared it has some kind of a value, and now I'm going to reassign a value to it, give it some new value. It'll allow us to do. Variables with a let keyword cannot be redeclared. Within my program, I will not be able to use the variable name once again if I'm doing it with the let keyword. Does it get hoisted? Is hoisting supported? No, it does not get hoisted. And while you're working with let, it follows something called as a block scope. Scoping is got to do with the life of a variable on what is scope, what is a function scope, what is a block scope. You're going to be learning when we get to the section on functions. With respect to const, if I declare a variable as a const or a constant, once I assign a value to it, I cannot come back and reassign a value to it. It'll throw me an error. When I declare a variable, I cannot redeclare the variable with the same name. It does not support redeclarations. It does not get hoisted. And it also has, like your let, it has something called as the block scope. Now, the reason why let and const have been introduced is to avoid bugs that were being generated in the older applications of JavaScript. Programmers had to be extremely careful so that they don't accidentally rename their variable or change a value to a variable. So there was no way of creating a variable and stopping it from being reassigned a new value. But now with ES6, they've gone ahead and they've created this const keyword. Whenever we create a variable with the const, it is going to ensure that it cannot be reassigned. It'll throw an error if I try to reassign. So things like this will actually help you make less mistakes while you're writing code, or accidentally other programmers or you would not be able to change the value for it. What is the difference between var, let, and const? JavaScript basically has three different keywords to declare a variable, which adds an extra layer of intricacy to the language, extra functionality to the language, layer of sophistication to the language. The differences is primarily based on concepts of scope, hoisting, reassignment, and redeclaration. So you have columns like keyword, scope, hoisting, can be reassigned, can be redeclared. If I take an example of var basically is function scoped. It does get hoisted. It can be reassigned. We can also redeclare. When you're declaring a variable with the let keyword, it uses block scope, or it has block scope. It does not get hoisted. Values can be reassigned, but we cannot redeclare the variable with the same name. With const, it is primarily block scoped. Hoisting is not supported. We cannot reassign. We cannot redeclare. Now this picture, I want you to take a snapshot of it or make a note of it in your notebook. You may be wondering which of the three you should use in your own programs. That's the important thing, right? I have three options. What do I use now? A commonly accepted practice is to use const as much as possible and use let in case of loops and reassignment. In our program, if we identify a variable, its value probably will be changing. Then we'll declare it as a let. If not, we will continue to declare it as a const. Then you might be wondering, then what do I do about the var keyword? Generally, var can be avoided outside of working on legacy code. What do you mean by legacy code? Let us say a company has their project which was started in 2010 or 2012. In the older projects, you will use the var keyword, but projects of the company which is started after 2015, you will be going ahead and using the let and the const.